Today, we're talking marijuana in Metro Detroit on this Thursday edition of Your Daily Detroit. Aric Klar from Quality Roots joins me to talk about how he sees the industry, the opportunities, and what's happening with their new location in Hamtramck. I'm Jer Stays, and this is episode 680 of the show for January 21st, 2020. Before we get started, two quick things. First, thanks to Fusion Marketing. If you're tired of that taped up piece of paper on the door of your business talking about masking, or you're looking for some great-looking 6-foot floor markers, Fusion Marketing's gotcha. Large format signs, vinyl, printing, and much more is available right now over at tryfusionmarketing.com. They're locally based in East Point, and they're focused on making you look good for your customers and clients. That's tryfusionmarketing.com. Thanks to John, and support those that help keep Daily Detroit on the air. Plus, thanks to our newest member, Goroff. You are amazing. You can join him at patreon.com/Daily Detroit. Okay, some bills are paid, so let's do this. Joining me on the line is Aric Klar. He is the CEO of Quality Roots, a cannabis business that's making moves in the state. Aric, welcome to Daily Detroit, sir.
Thanks, man. Really appreciate it.
Oh, of course. I'm interested to dive into this. Some people might know another brand that you worked with, Toyology. How do you make the jump from toys to cannabis?
I don't know if it's so much a jump as much as people think. I think it's a transition to doing what our family does best, which is creating environments where people are comfortable. They're constantly being educated about the products in which we're selling, and leaving here curious as well. So I don't really see it as a transition. I see it as a perfect balance in two industries that align very well.
Well, good merchandising and good retail is good retail, whatever you're selling, right?
You got it. And even more important than merchandising, the people that are trusting our processes to carry them out to the communities in which we operate.
Well, but it also takes it to another level talking about cannabis, because toys, they're fun, they're great, they keep people's attention. But when you're dealing with cannabis, that's something that people are actually taking into their body. So I imagine there's a bit of a different bar there.
A little bit of a different bar. I grew up in the specialty pharmacy business. The reason we got into the toy business because we saw the comparisons between the two. Of course, putting things in their body, but healthy play is also very good for your body, right? So there's a balance between the products for sure. But at the end of the day, it comes down to taking the time to work with whomever is coming into our doors to help find the perfect product for them, whether it's one that they're utilizing, internally, or one that they're utilizing to, develop their brain.
The company is expanding a lot. You started out with that store in Battle Creek, and now actually your newest place is Hamtramck, which is just a stone's throw from the studio here in the north end of Detroit. Why this growth and why Hamtramck?
Yeah, the growth is pretty unique. The Michigan, the way that it set itself up under cannabis law really gave the power to the local level, every local city to make their own decision. So Quality Roots is poised to what we say is become Michigan's premier cannabis retail outfit. And the reason for that is because we are focusing on being operational as much as we are in the application process throughout each of these municipalities. So, every city is going through this differently, whether they're allowing it or they're not. So Battle Creek was a place where we were able to get operational, get our team embedded with our processes, our systems, and, how we go about things. And, from that, we've been able to sincerely focus on, opening up the licenses in which we are awarded or we find. We got a lot of things in the pipeline. Hamtramck was a very unique situation. I don't want to use the word slid in here, but the city failed to make a decision in regards to opting into recreational cannabis. We followed the state's guidelines. We were fully transparent with the city level on what we were going to be doing here. And long story short, we are one of two what we call recreational facilities here in Hamtramck.
Since the city, and I can actually hear hammering in the background, so things are definitely underway.
We're moving.
It's the sound of progress for your company, right? You're looking at being operational. You're looking at the places where you can open up a storefront, but why in this particular place? Because I think a lot of people have seen Hamtramck kind of be on the rise. Some people have different impressions of Hamtramck. Every time I cover the city, there's always just a lot of attention to it. I can think of back in the day when I used to do things around Midtown, and Hamtramck gets a lot of that same energy. It is the densest in population in the state. So what called to you about Hamtramck beyond the availability?
Us as a family and us as a business love diversity. Hamtramck is a very diverse place, a place in which also respects and embeds with local operations, whether they're restaurants, bars, nonprofit organizations. Just like you said, it's, Hamtramck calls themselves the world in 2.2 square miles, right? So the diversity here is awesome. Hamtramck, as you just said, there's always a lot of attention on, I think because of that diversity, which led to, there being a lot of attention on Hamtramck and how they were going through these marijuana processes. Again, Quality Roots just kind of positioned ourselves being as transparent with the municipality as possible as we were doing our due diligence on where they were at as far as recreational cannabis. And because Hamtramck failed to make a decision to opt into recreational cannabis, just like I said, we had to follow the state's guidelines. And it's been a tough process as far as opening up here because we do have some backlash from some residents, and we also have a lot of, positive vibes coming from other residents. And I think that comes down to that diversity. And one thing that also excites me about Hamtramck is that I'll have the opportunity, even though Hamtramck is not allowing any more cannabis retail to come to town, I will have the opportunity to show the municipality, its citizens, its city officials, whomever, the impact that cannabis can have in a positive way in their municipality. And, when it comes to Quality Roots, we're not just talking cannabis, we're talking, the Klar family and what we do. And, that includes toy allergies efforts, that includes anything that we can embed with. This past December, I got in touch with a local organization here, found out that they were very low on children's donations for the Christmas season. And Toy Allergy donated almost $7,000 worth of children's products for this organization to pass out to kids on Christmas. There's one example of something the community I don't think is fully anticipating, but we look forward to, furthering, embedding ourselves within the municipality, inspiring people to come to Hamtramck to open new business, give hopefully some donations and some funds to the DDA to expand their efforts, and again, further embed with the municipality.
One of the threads I've seen covering this cannabis industry, especially locally, is that community aspect. Is there something about the cannabis business that's intrinsic to focusing more on that community than, say, some random pizza place opening up or something like that?
The unique thing about the cannabis business is, of course, the volume and dollars that come with this business. And because it's higher than most industries and most variables, there's some excess funds that are available in this space that allow us to, like I said, have more of a financial ability to embed with those financial things that the municipality may need. So while everybody, of course, can be impactful, there's a lot of things that require financial resources to get done. And I think that's where a lot of municipalities are seeing some significant opportunity.
So how do you feel in general about the cannabis industry in Michigan and in Metro Detroit?
We'll say that 2019, 2020 was puberty, and 2021 is the teenage years. And it's time for Michigan and across the country, it's time for cannabis brands and companies to identify who they really are. And what I mean by that is, Quality Roots, for example, we're a cannabis retailer. We do not cultivate. We push the brands in which have the best corporate responsibilities and mission statements and alignment with us through our retail channels, right? So I say that, just like every teenager's got to kind of identify themselves before they get to adulthood, I think that's what you're going to see in the cannabis industry right now. And that's something that I'm very proud to say that Quality Roots has done very well, which is identify our lane and sticking to it.
Over the last year and a half, I've seen this big trend toward vertical integration and this desperate climb towards vertical integration. Why didn't you pick that route?
So being vertical, a lot of people see as a necessary reason to be profitable. They see as a necessary reason for brand identity, et cetera. And I think there's a lot of ways to position your business to also get those two benefits without being 100% vertical. It costs a lot of money to build out, let's say, a large cultivation facility, right? It doesn't cost that much money to build out a retail store. I think what you're seeing is there was a lot of companies who were opening retail stores up because their cost was so low, and people did not have the product to supply those retail stores. So people's initial thoughts were, okay, we have to go and cultivate on our own in order to hit those benchmarks. So you've seen a lot of groups now, get their retail footprint set and now start to invest in cultivation. What we're doing, like I said, is not investing in cultivation, but embedding with the right partners that are furthering their growth in cultivation and processing. For me, it's all about vendor rapport, building those vendor relationships, supporting the people that want to support us. And when you have the ability to have those conversations and build those connections, Quality Roots is poised to be vertical in that way.
I've seen, and I've heard a lot of these stories because any listener of the show knows cannabis is a beat we regularly touch on. And a number of those places that we have visited that have said they're going to go vertical, well, they haven't yet, or it's taken a long time, or there's been so many licensing issues and, all the things like that. Do you think that the industry is going to be either or do you think that there's going to be a blend?
There's always going to be a blend, right? Everybody's got their different philosophies. Everybody's got their different, like I said, their different mission statements, their different goals. I just hope that everybody is trying to be as consistent as possible. Like that's the key. My best advice that I've gotten over the years is pick a sport. And again, I hate to repeat myself, but the Klar family has always chose retail because we love to be the face of the business, we love to be the face of the brand, and the face of the education that we're pushing the other brands with. I think that's super rewarding to us and our team.
That makes a lot of sense to kind of lean on your strengths. From the customer's point of view, what does your shop offer which gives you an advantage?
I'm priding myself on bringing in the largest curation possible. I'm priding myself on bringing in only the best quality products that are hitting the market and us making that determination before they hit our sales floor. Right? If you're vertical and something doesn't go right, you might still have to sell that product. So with our emphasis on quality, we have that decision. That's a strong key. The other point of it is, like here in Hamtramck, we have so many brands that are looking to get their products recreationally available in, let's say, the Detroit and Metro Detroit market. And with so many limited retailers right now in the Tri-County area, we have the ability to really work with these brands and even be a friend and hand in hand in helping them grow their brands bottom line here in this area and hopefully further. When you walk into Quality Roots, one, you're going to feel a family vibe right away. You're going to see a blend of the best curation of brands and even more importantly, the people behind those brands and us having the education on those stories. I think you're going to come here and get more educated. You're not going to be pushed product down your throat. And because we have the emphasis on that, I see a gap in the industry of that focus and that energy. I have 6 members of my management team that are here 10 hours a day right now in Hamtramck, working with our new 15 team members to get them to fully not only understand the processes that we built, but they understand the vibes, the right words to use, like trust. How many dispensaries and provisioning centers are using the word trust? That's something we're using when we're talking to our team members, when we're talking to our customers, and when we're talking to our brands. And that's the key here, building trust.
I think about that trust because one of the resistance points to dispensaries, and I can speak more to the city of Detroit than Hamtramck, has been the worry about it just going to be willy-nilly. There were some in the early part of the game that were kind of thrown up there early on. And so I think people had worries that was going to be a repeat situation. It seems so far with the folks I've talked to that those who are making it through now, they're definitely much more of like a curated, focused pro experience, like a store that whether they sold cannabis or whatever, it would look very clean and very something a community could look at and be proud of.
The cream is rising to the top, right? Naturally, because people have had the opportunity to operate wrongfully or make mistakes uncompliantly. The wrong people in this business will weed out. And again, you're going to see the right people operating. And that's the most exciting part for me. This is a community that's very close as much as it's competitive. And I only want the best for anybody who's getting into this space. So I'm happy to see that cream is rising.
We've got the Hamtramck store. That's open as we're recording this, right?
It's open as we're recording this. We're open for curbside right now at 2024 Kniff, right off the highway.
Do you have any other plans you can talk about for the state or any ideas that you're thinking about right now?
So I'm happy to say that Quality Roots has finished first place in the application process in Berkeley out of 30 plus applicants. So we have a location going in at 11 Mile in Greenfield, hopefully sometime summer of 2021. We just placed third place for a vertical license in Westland. There'll be a 55,000 square foot facility, one in which we will be bringing in other people to cultivate, and we will be utilizing the retail portion of that facility. We just handed in another application in the city of Waterford. We have another application coming up here in the city of Royal Oak. And again, just have identified a few more in which hopefully the cannabis community identifies here soon, and look forward to continuing building our grade A retail footprint here in Metro Detroit.
Yeah, that Westland facility idea, that sounds interesting. I haven't heard something like that before. What's that going to be? You're saying you're going to have other folks work with you?
Like I mentioned before, we understand why it's important to be vertical. We don't understand the rush to be vertical. So Westland gives us the ability to either do that, but also allows us to bring people into the space that haven't been able to get into it yet. What I mean by that is Michigan is full of caregivers who have built amazing brands, who have built amazing processes, and have curated some amazing products. And a lot of them, unfortunately, have not been able to make their way into the fully licensed market. Quality Roots looks forward to hopefully giving that opportunity to a collective of caregivers to bring their product into the market, and ones in which Quality Roots can also have on their shelves. So, I always joke that me as an entrepreneur, I kind of take this hippie capitalist approach to things. You have to share with the people that you care about. What other way is better to do that than a cannabis collective with a bunch of people who care about the plant, care about the people who will be indulging with it, and care about the business's growth?
I feel like that's a little bit closer to, and I don't mean to use the pun, but a little bit closer to the root of the cannabis industry as I understand it before all of the commercialization.
You got it. And, I'm a grassroots guy. Everybody who knows me knows that I'll talk to anybody at any time. And, it's about talking to find the right people. And I believe in this situation, the climate that we're trying to create, the right people are the people who haven't been identified yet. And, I'm very, very excited to find those people here in the state of Michigan.
Well, Aric Klar, CEO of Quality Roots, thank you so much for your time today. If people want to know more, where can they go?
GetQualityRoots.com. Check us out. Come check us out at 2024 Kniff, right off exit 55 here in Hamtramck. Check us out in Battle Creek. And like I said, just give us the opportunity to earn your trust and loyalty. And I'm sure we'll be family members for years to come.
All right, that's it for today's podcast and a taste of coming attractions. Tomorrow, Man About Town, Devin O'Reilly stops by. We're going to talk about, what's happening about town and a bunch of other stuff in the region. So tune in, why don't you? Anyway, I'm Jared Stays. Thanks so much for listening. This has been your Daily Detroit. Take care of each other, and we'll get through this together.